I'm Alison. I am executive coach and founder of Moxie Boss Coaching and Consulting. And I spent 17 years in the corporate world in Australia and all the way around Europe, as well as in Taiwan. I was in funds management, I was in investment banking, and I was CFO of all these different types of renewable energy projects globally, managing boards, sitting on boards, managing people in teams, and budgets up to $2 billion US dollars. So I had quite the experience. And then one day I just said, wow, I am going to become a coach. This was a couple of years ago now, 2019. So because I had a really transformative coaching experience when I was actually in Taiwan. So I thought, this is actually what I want to do. I finally somehow found my purpose, which I absolutely loved. So now when I tell people I'm a leadership coach for women, they say, that is amazing. You look so excited. But what is that exactly? How does that actually work? People, they sort of throw around these terms of coaching and mentoring and things like that. And a lot of people aren't really sure what it really means. I think we've all sat through, coaching sessions, team coaching and training and things like that at work. And mentoring and things like that as well. But an actual coaching relationship, a pure coaching relationship, is quite different from something that you might have experienced in the past. So today's session is I'm just going to lay it all out on the table. It's purely information for you. So ask any questions that you like in the chat. I've already received a couple of questions in advance that people would like me to cover. So, and if you're watching this on replay, also shoot me a message wherever you're watching it, and I will respond ASAP, because this is information for you. And it's great that you're interested in coaching, because that means that you want to take that next step forward. And you need a little bit of help, which, we all need a little bit of help now and then. So I'm here for you. So shall we get straight into it then? So I have written down a couple of different topics that I wanted to talk about. And the first one is, who is coaching actually for? A lot of people might think that coaching is kind of performance management, particularly if you're going to leadership coaching, or if you've just been promoted and your manager says, I think you need a coach. It's not always about performance management. Actually, it's very rarely about performance management. You go to coaching because you want to go from good to great. Coaching is really, really forward focused. It's saying, I'm going okay now, I'm fine, but gee whiz, I know there's more inside of me. And I need to be able to somehow take that step, because I've been trying, but I know that there's more inside me and it's just not quite working at the moment. So that is exactly what coaching is for. It is finding out what is keeping you stuck, because performance is really your potential minus any kind of interference. And I love that equation. It's so true. And coaching is really about finding what this interference is and getting it out the way, so that you can shoot the lights out, so you can be the person that is inside you. That is who coaching is for. And that doesn't sound like performance management to me. It sounds kind of interesting and inspiring. All this action taking and things like that. It sounds like it's for people who, want to progress their career, want to progress their relationships, want to become the person that they really can see themselves as in the future. They want to get there. And, they don't want to hunt and peck around the internet to see how they can do that. They want to have actionable steps so that they can achieve what they want to achieve, whatever success means to them. So that is exactly who coaching is for. And, I deal with a lot of emerging female leaders, and that describes every single last one of them. They're amazing women who know that there's more inside. They might be feeling a little bit stuck or overwhelmed. There's always a lot of self-doubt going on. Even if you're CEO or CFO of large projects and things, there's imposter syndrome. There's things that you could be doing better, maybe communication style, or empowering others, or motivating yourself. There's all kinds of different things that people just need a little bit of help with. And that's what a coach is there for. So that is who coaching is for. it's a little bit different from something like therapy. I mean, you do have very in-depth conversations with coaching as well as therapy. But therapy is a little bit more backward focused. So it sort of goes into more detail about your childhood, maybe some of the traumas that you've experienced, and why these things are really stopping you and impinging on your life as you want it to be. So it's hard to move past that and be forward looking if you've got all of these traumatic experiences in your past. So that's where therapy and coaching is slightly different. And as a coach, we're actually trained and we're bound to ethical standards to be able to see when that is appropriate, to suggest that somebody have a look at therapy. Sometimes they can do therapy and coaching, but it's our ethical standards that we need to help them make the right decision for them. So that's how coaching is different from therapy. Okay, second topic. What is leadership coaching versus life coaching? So I say I'm a leadership coach, but actually leaders are people. Leaders experience life. So really, I like to look at it as in, what is the end goal? So a lot of the people who come to me are aspiring leaders, or they're leaders already in their organizations, and they just want to get a little bit further. They want to get some confidence or some executive presence, whatever that means. Or their manager has said to them, you need to get some coaching. How about, finding a leadership coach? So it's really the end goal that we're looking at in terms of leadership coaching. So that might be, learning how to really motivate and inspire people in your team. It might be being able to communicate up and down and sideways and diagonally in the food chain in your organization, communicating better, building better relationships. It could be any of these sorts of things. So it's really the end goal that makes a difference. So life coaching, it could be, having at the end of the day a better relationship with your children or with your spouse. It could even be about weight loss, anything like that. So the end goal is usually slightly different in terms of leadership coaching and life coaching. But at the end of the day, we are all people. So my coaching, I think some coaches do it like this, but my coaching really looks at your who. So this is really your identity, and your identity has been shaped for many, many years. And it's every person that you've come across, your education and your schooling, and where you grew up, and your parents and your siblings and your colleagues, the books that you've read, the television that you watch, the social media that you consume. Everything affects who you are and your outlook on life. It affects your who, as I like to say. And when you change your who, that's when you change how you do things and what you do. So a lot of people might go to leadership coaching to learn how to delegate better. But what is it about your who that's actually resisting, delegating how you want to delegate? So that is really the best starting point for a lot of these topics in leadership coaching. What is holding you back? What is the challenge that you're experiencing, and why are you experiencing that? Let's get that challenge out the way, because something is holding you back from inside. Let's get that out the way so you can delegate. You can have trust in the people that you work with. You can have self-confidence when talking to people above you. You can do all of these things that you want to do. Because if you try to do these things without changing who you fundamentally are, it's going to be hard. It's going to be unsustainable. It's going to be really awkward, and you're just going to feel this dissonance trying to be confident around board members when that's just not who you are is really difficult. And it's not something that you can comfortably sustain for a long time. So a lot of coaching, even leadership coaching, is about finding out what these challenges are inside, overcoming those, to help you take your new who out into the world. So, it's an interesting way of looking at leadership coaching, but I love looking at like that. You deal with the person, not the thing. So that's kind of how I look at it, and it works. It definitely works. Okay, up next, what results can I expect to see from coaching? My friend, it's all up to you. If any coach says, I guarantee that you will lose 50 pounds, or you will be making 10,000 euros a month, or all this kind of stuff, They can't guarantee that because it's actually up to you at the end of the day. They can provide a framework that is a proven framework that has helped a lot of other people. And a lot of coaches do that. I like to do that as well. But to guarantee something, it's kind of impossible because it really is up to you. Just attending coaching sessions is not quite going to be enough, I'm afraid. So you need to really look at coaching as, we might meet 10 or 12 times for an hour, but at the end of the day, 90 to 95% of the magic actually happens when you're outside of that coaching session, when you're practicing your aha moments that you've had. You're actually doing the things that we spoke about. You're trying to implement these newfound ideas into your life and into your interactions with other people around you. So that is actually when the change happens. And that is all down to you, my friend. It's difficult, almost impossible to go from a coaching relationship and think, okay, I've had my 10 sessions, that's it. Am I a changed woman now? It doesn't quite work that way, unfortunately. So you need to build up these new neural pathways in your brain, just like a habit. It's just like learning a new language. Learning a new way of thinking takes as much effort for the brain as learning a new language. So it takes at least 6 months and consistent practicing to change the way you think in your brain, which is exactly what coaching does. So I was experiencing this myself when I was actually being coached, when I was doing all my coach qualifications at the school. I was experiencing changes in my brain. I was thinking about things differently. I was perceiving things differently. And that kind of fascinated me. I thought, okay, coaching is working, but why? Why is it working? How can I make it work even more? This is amazing. And so I did a certificate in neuroscience for leadership at MIT Sloan Business School. And it really taught me about, habits and how your neural pathways can really be built up by a muscle by practicing these types of things. So, it's something that you have to do yourself. I can't tell you to think differently every single day. I'm not going to set a timer on your phone to make you do it, but you can. You can start picking up when you start judging yourself or others, when you start having negative thoughts, when you start doubting yourself again. You can learn how to tag your brain, value tag it, to say, brain, watch out when I do this, take a mental note. And then your brain will get used to that. It's important to you. And the more that you notice it happening, the more awareness you'll have. And that leads to a conscious choice. When you pick it up, you can say, this is not working for me anymore. I am not going to react to this situation. I'm going to now respond to this situation exactly how I want to. You're making a conscious choice now because of this awareness. So that's one of the fundamental ideas of coaching, really. So bringing awareness to these types of issues. And you need to trick your brain or hack your brain into doing this for you. And you practice. That's what you need to do. So basically, results are down to you, my friend. Sorry, that's just how it is. Okay, next question was, what's the commitment in terms of time, money, and effort? So really, I find the sweet spot of coaching about 10 to 12 weeks for a particular topic, particular issue, particular goals. It's around about 10 to 12 weeks. That is really when you can start to see some significant change, or 10 to 12 sessions, actually. And so that can happen over a period of 3 to 6 months. I like having our meetings every 2 weeks, because then you have a little bit of extra time for implementing what you need to implement into your life. And we're all really busy people. I know this. I've been exactly where you are for 17 years. I was overwhelmed and stressed and feeling all the things. And, I don't want this to add to your overwhelm, any sort of coaching. So I like to do every 2 weeks for a 10 to 12 week period. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot for a lot of coaching. And sessions, some coaches do 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Other coaches do an hour, even 90 minutes. I like 50-minute sessions, so that if you're doing these sessions in work time, because you're undergoing leadership coaching, you have time before your next meeting, because your day is probably packed, to go to the bathroom and get a cup of coffee or get a water, whatever you need to do, and just mentally prepare. for your next meeting. So that's sort of the time commitment that we're looking at. Effort, as I said, you need to practice this kind of stuff. So when you're in the session, you need to be 100% there and 100% committed to that time together. Your coach can help you calm down and focus, actually. It's one of the things that we definitely see in a lot of clients, that kind of need, because we're usually coming from another meeting and running to coaching. So we need to calm down a little bit. So we need focus in that period, and you need some practice in between sessions. But really, like 90% of the hard work is showing up and committing to this and saying, I want to give this a fair go, because it does take a little while for a lot of people to commit to coaching at all. They're unsure, they're not quite sure how it works, it sounds like a big commitment, etc. It can be expensive, so it's a big decision for a lot of people to make. So if now is the right time for you for coaching, commit to it. Give it everything you can, because it just works. So you owe it to yourself to really commit yourself to something like coaching. Now, in terms of money, it depends really on the type of coaching that you're getting. So life coaching, that can be sort of the cheapest version of coaching. And so that can be maybe sort of even 75 euros or dollars or pounds. It's about the same at the moment. To up to maybe 150, something like that. It depends on your coach's attitude to money, their experience and their qualifications. So it can be very, very, very variable indeed. So Tony Robbins is going to cost something very different to a recent graduate from a certificate in coaching. So, and leadership coaching is very similar. So in that it can be a very broad spectrum. So for leadership coaching, it generally goes from about 165 euros around Europe to hundreds of euros an hour, particularly if we're talking at senior CEO levels and things like that, 500 euros, 600 euros and above per hour. But, a lot of the time it's maybe 200, 300 euros for an hour. But again, a lot of the time it's actually part of a package. So most coaches offer it as a package, because basically the coachees are paying for the end result that they're getting. And the coach knows how long it takes and how much effort it takes to get their coachee to that end goal. And so they've based their packages pricing on that end result that they're showing that they can help deliver. So a lot of the time that might be, they might have extra videos in there. They might have a workbook. They might give you little bits of homework. Yes. They might have check-in times. They might have emergency appointments that you can make. So if you're just about to go into a meeting and you're freaking out, you can call them for free for a 10-minute quick coaching consultation. And you can contact them via WhatsApp, or, there's lots of things that are part of a package. So coaching is very variable in terms of pricing. But, the return on investment, I feel, is very high. And so it really pays to look at it as in, what is the end result that I am after, and what is this worth to me, really, instead of looking at how much it is an hour. How much is it worth to you to be confident and get that promotion and be able to manage your team so everybody's really happy and engaged and motivated? I kind of think it's priceless, but we all have budgets. So just to give you an idea for how things are priced in the coaching industry. Okay. Oh, speaking of money as well, I almost forgot, particularly for leadership coaching. A lot of the time your work will actually have a budget for this. So your manager might be able to say, yes, we have a talent development budget within our corporation, so they would be happy to pay for that for you. And in that situation, this is really important. In that situation, just because the company is paying does not give them the right to know what you've been saying in the coaching session at all. So the company is known as the sponsor. They're just paying for it. You're the coachee, and anything that you say to the coach that will be kept as confidential. So no manager can say, tell me what Doris has been saying about us because I don't think she's happy. We can't do that. Ethical standards say, no, it's completely confidential between the coach and the coachee. So what I like to do at the beginning of this kind of coaching relationship, when the company is paying for it, have a meeting. I like to have a meeting with the manager or, HR, whoever's really organizing it, and often with the coachee at the same time, and say, okay, what is the end goal here? What is it that you'd like to see at the end of our time together, so you can see that you have made a quality investment in your employee? And so, getting really aligned with everybody on what that outcome should be, that's really, really helpful. And that gives clarity to the coachee as well, and what the expectations are. So that is a good way of going about getting corporate support. And, any coach who deals with corporations, if you're interested in being coached, they should have like a one-pager that they can just give you. And, you can take that to your manager and say, hey, I found this coach. They look really good. These are their qualifications. This is what they're offering. This is what I'd like to talk to them about. So that the decision that the manager makes for investing in the coach is much more easily made. So that's just a little hint and tip for everybody out there who's interested in coaching, but maybe you have budget constraints, or you just like the idea that your company will invest in you. Yeah. Okay, next topic. How is coaching different from therapy or mentoring? So I talked briefly about therapy before, but there are a lot of things out there like mentoring and consulting and things like that. So really in a pure coaching relationship, the coach will not tell you what to do. They will absolutely not tell you what to do. The agenda is always up to you. The end goal is always up to you. The coach is there to help you find your way to that end goal, and they will give you hints and tips and ideas and all kinds of resources and everything like that they have in their power to give you. They will give you to help you get to your end goal, but they will not tell you what to do. And I mean, a lot of people expect coaches to tell them what to do. And, some people come to me because I do have experience on boards. I do have experience with managing people and working in large, high-stress corporations. So they come to me and say, okay, you understand what I'm going through. Help me. Tell me what to do. I want to get onto the board. Tell me what to do. And I can give you my opinion, but we're talking about you here. You are the only person who knows what it is that you need to do or think or believe to get to where you want to go. So, my job is to help you find this, to help you really get to the guts of what it is that is keeping you from getting where you want to go. But I will not tell you what to do. I can give you ideas. I can tell you of different experiences that I've had or different clients have had. But, nothing that I say I'm attached to. It's very much, we're brainstorming. Take what you want out of this. There's some ideas, but it's very much not telling you what to do. It is your agenda in pure coaching. So there's other sort of coaching methods that are slightly different. So for instance, business coaching, that can often be a little bit different because often it's someone who is experienced in business and have maybe started up a few companies themselves and say, now I want to help people do the same thing. So maybe they have a formula that they teach everybody and you go through their steps to help to set up your business. So that is called coaching, but it's a different type of coaching. It's more consulting, actually. So it's the naming of things that is slightly different and misleading. Well, it's just what it's known as in the industry. So, and it's very similar to consulting, where people tell you how to do things and what to do. So it's quite a different relationship from coaching. And then mentoring is similar to that as well. So with a mentor, you're really meeting up with them to talk about your issues, but they're there to give their own personal insights because they've been there, they've done that. So, it's a lot of emphasis on the mentor's experience in a mentoring relationship. There's also things like team coaching, and that's also kind of like coaching, but it's more like training, because it's not the agenda really of the people who are getting coached. It's actually the training agenda of the coachee or the coacher. So that's more like training. Group coaching, on the other hand, that can be more like coaching. So maybe the coach has like a broad agenda each week, but the actual discussion amongst the participants is going to be more according to the participants' agenda. So I love personally doing group coaching. So each week we have a particular topic, and then we have discussions around how we're experiencing this. So one week might be about confidence. So we talk about confidence and they've watched some of my videos, etc. And then we all discuss, a small group of women, like 5 or 6 women, how they experience their crises of confidence or what makes them feel confident, etc. And just getting that different perspective from other people can be really eye-opening for a lot of participants in group coaching. So it's really worthwhile to look at if you really want to communicate with other people. And it's usually slightly cheaper than one-on-one coaching as well, because it's not quite as bespoke. So that is really the difference between coaching and other modalities. So it's very much your agenda with coaching. Okay, next question. What does a coaching session look like? So at the very beginning of a coaching relationship, you'll usually work out together what the end goal is. What is it that you want to achieve by the end of your time together, and what does success look like there? And so even just coming up with what does success look like, that can take a session or two to really get to the bottom of that, because purpose and passion and things is a conversation in itself. So at the beginning of the coaching relationship, you sort of set the parameters, where you want to get to by the end, what it might look like to get there, some of the specific challenges that you've been facing, whether they're external blocks or something that's going on with your who that's not allowing you to be who you want to be. And then you can really both map out a path together to get you on your way to reaching that goal by the end of your time together. And a lot of coaches also have an assessment tool. So you might be familiar with Myers-Briggs or DISC or Enneagram. I do something called the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, which is very much an attitudinal assessment. So it kind of shows us who your who is right now. So all of your experiences, how you experience the world because of what you've seen and heard and done in the past, this is how you experience the world now. So do you trust people? Are you unmotivated? Are you opportunistic? Are you really wanting to help people? Are you leading from the heart? Where is your current state of mind in relation to yourself in the world at the moment? And really getting that kind of information can help you say, okay, this is where the path looks like it's leading, that we need to explore a little bit more to get me to where I want to be at the end goal. So I love these assessments. So definitely ask any sort of coach that you're talking to if they have these kinds of assessments. Just gives a little bit more clarity and direction at the start of a coaching relationship. That's fun. And then in a classical coaching relationship, the session, maybe about 50 minutes or so, it will really be kind of like no other conversation that you've had before. It's, mostly you talking. It's, 80, 90% you talking. And it's the coach really listening like you've never been listened to before in your life. We are specifically trained to listen to every single thing that the coachee is saying and what they're not saying as well. And it's what they're not saying, which is the super interesting stuff. Because so often, if somebody is challenged, if a coach challenges a coachee and says, you're saying this, but, is that really how you feel? Is that a truth or is that the truth? And after a little bit of digging, the coachee will come up with a new truth for themselves that is actually feels more true than what they've experienced in the past. And they've never said it out loud before. They've never said it to anyone, even to themselves, that this is actually how they feel. So you can't have these types of conversations with loved ones or with your friends. Everybody gets sidetracked. Everybody needs to buy a next round of drinks. Everybody wants to talk about their relationships. You get sidetracked after 5 or 10 minutes if you want to start talking about yourself. But with a coach, it's all about you. It is absolutely all about you for the full time that you're together. And we will ask probing questions, not leading, but probing questions, to help you get to the exact answer that feels exactly right for you. And then those aha moments will help you discover what your next steps truly are to get you to the place where you truly want to be. So it's a really intense, trusting relationship that people end up having with their coach. Sometimes it can take a long time for people to really open up to their coach because they can be awkward topics. I know it took me weeks before I opened up to one of my coaches because I had a topic that was bugging me and affecting me in different ways, stopping me from really moving forward the way I wanted to. But, I was ashamed to bring that up because I was just hiding it out the corner of my eye, and I didn't want to bring it out into the light because it was awkward and messy and full of shame. So it took a while before I brought it out, but when I did, it's like the sunshine just takes the energy away from it. It's done. That's it. So it's fascinating, the things that you can uncover in a coaching relationship. So, but don't be intimidated by that. It sounds intense, but it is kind of life altering, really, to be able to have that kind of conversation with somebody, because I'd never had one like that before, to be perfectly honest. And I've got great friends, but I'd never had conversations like that before. And now I'm addicted, totally addicted. All right. Another question is, why can't I just do this myself? I mean, I'm in my early 40s now, and you think I didn't try? I was just too busy trying to hunt and peck around the internet. It's just like I tried starting to read books, and it's like, well, that's not really my issue. I thought it was about confidence or whatever, but it's not quite imposter syndrome. That doesn't resonate with me, but it's something with my confidence, and trying to find exactly the right book that I needed and that I could really take something away from and implement in my life. I never found anything, and I just stopped trying after a little while. It was just too hard. I didn't have time for that. Honestly, didn't have time for that. And there's lots of YouTube videos and stuff like that, but again, they're quite generic. They're not your specific problem. They're sort of talking to everybody and a little bit of nobody at the same time. So they're interesting, but they're not for you. A coaching session is 100% focused on you the entire time, the entire relationship. It's all about you. I'm not sitting there making judgments or anything like that as a coach. This is all about you. I'm not thinking about myself. I am 100% of my energy is focused on what you need and how we can help you make the steps to get you where you want to be. So I don't think there's no book as powerful as that, I would definitely say. So go ahead, hunt and peck around the internet, Google, Kindle, etc. But it's a difficult thing to do, for sure. All right. There are so many coaches out there. Why can't I just choose anybody? Does it matter? I think during the pandemic, there's a lot of people out there who became coaches, and that's fair enough. That's fine. But I think you should put in a little bit of effort into finding the right coach for you. Because there are people who call themselves coaches, but what they do is consulting. Maybe that is actually what you need. Or maybe you want a coach. Maybe you want a life coach. Maybe you want a leadership coach. Maybe you want a relationship coach, a family coach, something like that. Know what it is, or have an idea what it is that you're trying to overcome. What are your challenges? What are you experiencing? And try to find a coach that is aligned with that and is experienced in that area. That definitely helps if they've heard all these kind of stories very similar to yours. There's a type of familiarity there, and they've got a lot of very specific resources that they can call upon to help you, because that's what they do. Leadership coaching, I've got bookcases full of leadership coaching books, and what happens when you become a new manager, and how to think differently about different things, and imposter syndrome and people pleasing and all kinds of things. I'm very much focused on that area of expertise. So, look for people who are aligned with what it is you want. They don't have to have been in that industry or have the same experience as you. A properly qualified coach can actually coach anybody, literally anybody, because it's the coachee's agenda. And we listen and ask probing questions and help them get to where they want to be. I could do that with absolutely anybody if I wanted to. But not everybody can do that. So, and there's a sense of familiarity as well if you choose a coach who's been where you are, and there's a sense of connection. And this is why I mostly coach emerging female leaders, because I feel as though that was me 5 minutes ago, and I have this connection and understanding with women that I coach there that I really love. It gives me an amazing energy to be able to help them as well. So that's why I picked this niche. But not all coaches have a niche like that, which is also totally fine. I would say, to find out all this information, stalk them. Stalk them, go to their LinkedIn profile, go to their website, find out how they describe what they do. Does that resonate with you? Find out about their methodology. Is it pure coaching? Do they have a program? Is it group coaching? Is it one-on-one coaching? What the costs are, if that is also in line with your budget. And really, if what they're saying resonates with you, because some coaches, they might combine their classical coaching with NLP or meditation or tapping and all kinds of different things that some people don't feel comfortable with. So, just make sure you know what you're getting into. And a great way, apart from stalking, when you think you've sort of narrowed it down, a great way to find out if this person is right for you is booking in for a discovery call. These are on the websites usually, or just contact the coach however you can, and ask for a discovery call. It's a free session where you explore what's holding you back, what your challenges are. You can quiz the coach on what they do, how they do it, what their experience is, etc. It's very much an information call, so you can find out if you're both aligned, because, as I said before, the relationship between a coach and a coachee is really important, and that trust and connection will lead to a great coaching experience for you if you have that from the get-go. So don't be afraid to stalk them, try them out, try them on for size, and see where you get to. It's a really important relationship. So I'd encourage you to do your homework and see if they've got qualifications as well. So there is the International Coaching Federation. So coaching is not regulated like therapy or something like that, but there is an international body where people can get an accreditation, and that's ICF, International Coaching Federation. And if you're ICF accredited, that means that you have done a course, an accredited coaching course over 100 hours of learning. You've coached other people for over 100 hours. You've done a 30-minute coaching call with somebody, recorded it and had it marked, sent in. You've done mentor coaching. So you've had a mentor in a number of occasions be coached by you and then give feedback. You've also done an online multiple choice exam that takes about 3 hours. So it's pretty, there's a lot, there's a lot going on there. And if somebody is accredited by the ICF, so as ACC, MCC or PCC, that means that they've put a lot of effort into their coaching education for you. So I'm partial to that. I'm ACC, I'm accredited by the ICF. So I think that it sort of shows a stamp of quality and commitment by coaches to this. And, there is also a code of ethics that we're bound by. like I was talking before about confidentiality and things like that, if your business is sponsoring your coaching. So that is the advice I could give you. Just see if you connect with your coach, see if you love what they're saying, and reach out. Take that first step. It's a really important relationship to start, because you've probably been thinking about it for a long time. You might be getting jittery and annoyed with yourself because you can't get where you want to go. And it's hard to do stuff like that just by yourself. And you'll find in 6 months or a year, you're in the same place that you were before. Nothing has really changed. Your who is still exactly the same. Your who is still scared to speak up in meetings. Your who is still scared to leave work before 9 p.m. at night. It's time to take action to start feeling better, to start feeling happy again. And coaching can absolutely do this for you. Now, I think we are just on to Q&A now. So I will check the Q&A on here. Okay, Stacey has asked, is there homework between sessions? Yeah, I mean, as I said before, like there's really a moment over time that's where the coaching really comes into its own. So a lot of the time in the coaching session, you can do all these types of things. But I think the most important homework that anyone can give you as a coach is to practice exactly what you've learned. So at the end of each coaching session, I'll ask you, okay, what are some insights that we got from today's discussion that you can use in your life moving forward? And, what we discussed there, I can help to keep you accountable. So next time we meet, it's like, okay, did we try this out? Did you do some journaling, as you said you'd like to do? Did you try speaking up in a meeting? How did that feel? So there's a lot of little challenges and things that your coach might give you in between sessions, because in between sessions, it's just where the magic happens. So there can be homework in that regard. There can be, maybe journaling homework. There can be some trigger questions that they give you. There's they might give you a judgment journal. So you write down each point of the day that you find yourself judging yourself or judging other people, to bring awareness to, what you're actually experiencing. Creating awareness leads to a conscious choice down the path. Remember that? So there can be different types of homework, even with a classical coach. If you've got a business coach or even a weight loss coach or something, you will probably have homework there. So you might need to do a marketing plan by the next time you meet up together, or you might need to do a food journal if you're with a weight loss coach, things like that. So with my leadership coaching, it really depends on the topic that we've been talking about. I might have extra little prompt questions or extra little worksheets that you can look at in the time that we're apart, to help keep you on track until next time we meet, to help keeping everything that you're learning top of mind, so you can just keep on practicing on a daily or at least a weekly basis, to get the biggest impact from our coaching time together. So yeah, there might be a little bit of homework, might be a video or two to watch, something like that. Particularly for my group coaching program, I have a few short videos for everybody to watch each week, and then we discuss them in the group coaching program. So there's a bit in between, and so it does take some commitment. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to wrap you across the knuckles if you don't do your homework. At the end of the day, you're the person who is holding yourself accountable. It's not me. I will do whatever I can to help you, but I'm not going to tell you off. I know other coaches might do that, but I'm not going to tell you off. You are a grown-ass adult, and this is all up to you. I'm there with my hand on your back, but at the end of the day, this is your journey, and you need to want to get there. And I've got your back. It's your journey. Okay, I think that was it for the question. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And if you're watching in the future as well, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it really informative. And if any of you have any more questions that you'd like answered, I'd be happy to answer them personally. So reach out to me on my website or Instagram, Facebook. I've got all these different platforms that I have that you can contact me on, and I will personally reply. So I look forward to catching up with you all in the very near future again. And good luck with your coaching. Take action today. Take action. All right, then. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.